Criminal law. Liability for omissions. The general rule regarding omissions is that there is no liability for a failure to act. For example, if you see a child drowning in shallow water and you don't do anything to save that child, you will not incur criminal liability for your inaction. This applies no matter how easy it may have been for you to save the child's life. This general rule, however, is subject to exceptions. These exceptions are: 1. Statutory duty. 2. Contractual duty. 3. Duty imposed by law. In addition, the omission may be classed as a continuing act. 1. Statutory duty. In some situations, there is a statutory duty to act. For example, there is a legal obligation to provide details of insurance after a traffic accident or to notify DVLA of a statutory off-road notice when you keep your vehicle off the road. If you do not do so, you are liable for your omission. 2. Contractual duty. If a person owes a contractual duty to act, then a failure to meet this contractual duty may result in criminal liability. This would apply, for example, to lifeguards who fail to take action to save those in trouble in the water and doctors who neglect to treat their patients. In RV Pitwood, the defendant was employed to operate the gate at a level crossing. On one occasion, he failed to put the gate down when a train was due. He was liable for his omission when the train struck a horse and cart. 3. Duty imposed by law. Liability may arise for an omission where there exists a duty imposed by law. There are 4 situations in which a duty may be imposed by law. These are: A. Where the defendant creates a dangerous situation. B. Where there has been a voluntary assumption of responsibility. C. Misconduct in a public office. And D. Duty arising from a relationship. A. Creating a dangerous situation and failing to put it right. This was seen in the case of R.V. Miller, where the defendant fell asleep with a lighted cigarette in his hand. The mattress caught fire. He awoke and simply moved to the next room. He was liable for his failure to put out the fire or raise the alarm, as he had created the danger. Similarly, in R.V. Khan and Khan, the 2 brothers were liable for the death of a 15-year-old girl who died in their flat from a heroin overdose. The fact that they had supplied the drug and thereby created the danger placed them under a duty to summon medical help. B. Assumption of responsibility. If a person voluntarily assumes a responsibility to do something and then doesn't do it, they may be liable for their omission. In R.V. Stone and Dobinson, the 2 defendants agreed to take care of Stone's sister, Fanny. She was elderly, had mental health problems, was anorexic and frail. Unfortunately, Fanny was found dead in her bed in appalling conditions. The defendants were liable for omitting to provide care for her. In R.V. Ditham, the defendant police officer stood by when a bouncer kicked a man to death. He was liable for the offense of misconduct in a public office. The court held that even though the name of the offense, misconduct, would suggest an action was required, the offense could be committed by an omission. D. Duty arising from a relationship. Parents owe a duty to keep their children safe and to feed them. In R.V. Gibbons and Proctor, a father and stepmother were liable when their child starved to death. An omission can also be classed as part of a continuing act. This can be seen in Fagan versus MPC, where the defendant accidentally drove onto a policeman's foot. The police officer shouted at him to get off in a rude and aggressive manner. The defendant switched off his engine and refused to move. The defendant argued that the driving onto the policeman's foot was the actus reus, and at that time he lacked the mens rea. When he formed the mens rea of the offense, he did nothing, so could not be liable for his omission. However, the court held that the driving onto the foot and remaining there was one continuous action, and he was found liable. In summary, the general rule is that a person is not liable for an omission. However, this general rule is subject to many exceptions, including where there exists a statutory or contractual duty, if there is a voluntary assumption of responsibility, or if the defendant created the dangerous situation. Misconduct in a public office can be committed by omission. Parents have duties in relation to their children. An omission may be classified as part of a continuous act. This video is part of a series of videos on law from www.e-lawresources.co.uk. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel www.youtube.com/e-lawresources. It's free to do so and will help us to keep providing these videos. Check out our website, which provides lecture outlines and case summaries. See also www.e-lawrevision.org.uk for revision games and quizzes. Thanks for watching.